Okay, I just realized I'd been muted for the past 10 minutes, so that makes a lot of sense, actually. So, let's kick things off, gang. We do it the same way every time as we join Fang Gang here in Waterdeep for their exploits this evening. You, my dear players, give me the recap. What happened last session? What's happened in sessions even before that? What's the current state of play as if we find the Fang Gang here planning their next exploit here within the Yawning Portal? As always, anyone who contributes some salient information, inspiration is on the table to be claimed. What's up, guys?
Well, I think I'll just contribute what I did last session was initially when we were trying to get to Lord Walrus's estate, I acted as a bodyguard for Echo. Then had to stab a bunch of cabbages because the guards found a mimic cabbage.
I think this bears a little bit more description. Exactly what was going on, Rusak?
Yeah, so we had a cart full of cabbages that was acquired
Saya.
by Saya, and then we found out that some of them were little baby mimic cabbages. And en route to Lord Walrus's house, I acted as a bodyguard to scare off unwanted eyes. And a guard stopped me to inspect and while stopped, he inspected the cart and found a cabbage that I then killed, or a mimic cabbage that I then killed. And I had to stab a bunch more cabbages, and then Echo lied about being the daughter of Lord Walrus, which was a really bad lie. But
Didn't know this
eventually,
man. I was going on a whim.
but eventually, we got past it. We received our payment from Lord Walrus, and he offered us a new job, which was to traverse the depths of the Dungeon of the Mad Mage. We would be paid for each level. And we did not agree or disagree. We took some time to think about it. I scuffed the bodyguard lady. I scuffed her shoes on the way out.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went back to my family, dropped off about 3/4 of the gold that I had been paid with to move them out of the slums and into a nicer area. And am now on my way back to the Yawning Portal.
Very well said, Rizak. I think the one big thing that you might have left out of there is what the party was transporting to Lord Walrus. What was in the cartload of mimic cabbages?
The platinum unicorn. That was a thing.
Absolutely. The prize that your employer had sent you to retrieve from the local dungeon known as Blue Alley, which you successfully did. Dropped it off, got your pay. Everything else just as you said, Rizak. Go ahead and take inspiration. What else has been going on, guys?
After we got to, where are we? The Yawning Portal. We had a little bit of downtime as we were waiting for Ruzok to come back, so that way we could discuss whether or not we were going to do the Mad Mage dungeon and work, for Lord Walrus, or if maybe we would keep an eye and ear out for other prospects. We, during the downtime, Echo and I went to look for the elderly lady who beat me up, in hopes to do the right thing this time, and instead of stealing her purse, we would instead just ask her politely where she got it.
Real quick, who was this elderly lady? Why did she beat you up the first time?
Because we went through a portal in the blue alley and went to the yawning portal, whatever. And on the way back, we decided to do a little heist, and I saw the most beautiful rat purse I've ever seen in my life, and I really wanted it, so I tried to get it, but she's really strong, and I am not. And she kicked my ass, and then because I tried to cut her strap, she took some of my money, which was fine, because I was trying to steal her money. Anyway, so then I went to go find her and do the right thing and be nice about it, and she was in the middle of a workout at the gym. Oh, also I met another tabaxi called This or That, and she was very nice to me. That was really nice. And then, yeah, at the gym, we saw her and went to go talk to her, and she was like, "Get out of my face, I'm training." And I was like, "I just gotta ask you a quick question." And she said, "You wanna ask me a question, bitch? Fight me for it." And I said, "Okay." And Echo said, "Oh yeah," because Echo was disguised as an Earth Genasi.
Completely forgot about this.
Yeah. And Echo was my coach, and I had to sign a waiver with the Minotaur. And then she punched me so hard that I was at 1 HP, and she said, "Give up." And I said, "No, I'll never give up. You can punch me out right now, but you know, I'm going to come back in the future, and I'll never stop until you give me the answer." And then she laughed and told me, and I said, "Sweet, thanks," and then left, and then Echo had a date, and then I came back to the yawning portal.
That's a masterful summation of your encounter with Waterdeep's 3 times Golden Gloves boxing champion, the elderly half-orc woman known as Edna, the anchor. I mean, you've certainly helped her out with her training for the next prize fight, and you've certainly gotten the information regarding her beautiful rat bag. When we say rat bag, I think this also merits some explanation. What exactly is this artifact that has fixated Gentle Thing's attention for the past several sessions?
It is a taxidermied rat duffel bag where she puts all her gym clothes in. And I like to picture the tail is like the strap, or like a part of the strap. So
the tail and the whiskers are woven together, right?
Yeah, like a little strap. It's so cute. I want it so bad. And the little feet are at the bottom, like at the, base of the bag, and you open it up along the spine. I want this bag so bad. I love it. Like, I want it in real life, too. I love it.
Very well said. A masterful summation of your part in last session's adventures. Go ahead and take inspiration there, Gentle Thing.
Yes.
What else has been going on, guys? Outside of the rat bag, although I get the sense that we're going to be saying rat bag a lot more this session.
So on our little sister girl day, I met the love of my life, Rufus, who, after, taking Gentle Thing to the gym, becoming my inner muscly man.
Real quick, it was like a chance encounter, right? It was like a cute meet. You were just asking for directions to the gym.
Yeah.
Okay.
Going over as like a Earth Genasi, ripped to shreds, had pecs that could like do that whole like where they move independently kind of look going on. And we were asking for directions, and he was telling us that there's a gym, and then was saying that he was going to be there, and he was like, if you're there too, and I was like, oh my god, like, if I'm there. Oh. And then went to the gym. I became Gentle Thing's manager, which kind of fits, and I think I was working it really well. And then I went on like this really cute date after Gentle Thing got her like prize, kind of.
You guys got protein smoothies.
We got protein smoothies with peanut butter, and he was a really sweet boy. He wasn't the smartest. Yeah, protein potions.
That's it.
And he was a really sweet boy. He wasn't the smartest tool in the shed, but he was adorable. And we said we would go out again. So Echo has now found the love of her life, and she is ecstatic.
Now, the important thing to consider here is the love of your life has no idea that you're a changeling and were in this illusory form for the entire course of your meeting.
Yes.
Yeah, but that you can work through that. It's going to be fine.
It's going to be fine. It will all work out okay. She hasn't really caught on to this right now.
Beautifully said, Echo. Anything else about your exploits you wish to recount?
Oh my gosh, I pretended to be this noble girl, and it turns out that she had a rumor about her. Not sure what it was. Accidentally called her teacher, headmistress, mum. So don't know who that is, but some girl is going to be in a lot of trouble.
Right, moving through the street with cabbages, with your, your motley crew. You were called out by someone in the noble carriage. You referred to her as mother. She looked bewildered at you, but let you know that your mother would definitely be hearing about it. And that also led to an interesting encounter with the Watch, where the party learned that impersonating a lord is something that is punishable by death.
Oh, good thing we didn't get caught.
Absolutely.
Right?
The Waterdeep Code
Only
legal very strict on that subject, but you made it through. You made it back to Lord Walrus's safely. Delivered the Celestine unicorn. Go ahead and take inspiration there, Echo. Ruzak, Saya, what's Fang Gang been up to in the Waterdeep?
Well, everything was so expertly summarized by the party already. Saya didn't do a bunch with Fang Gang. She's still getting the vibes. Had a brief conversation with the Lord Walrus gentleman. She was originally going to go up to that poor cabbage merchant and cast a sleep spell on him. But then she thought, let's do this legally, because why not? And bought an entire cartload of cabbages. And then just managed to say, hey, we'll bring it back, right? And then he said, sure, whatever. It's not like my wife left me because I care about my cabbages or whatever. And that was Saya's main contribution. Then when the party was trying to go out to find that rat purse, Saya was just like, why are you trying to go get a rat purse? Like, because it's fabulous! And so, Saya was left in the yawning portal to just sit and stew over her drink, her many fantasy Jaeger bombs that she's enjoyed and she's yet to topple over from.
Very nicely said. Saya, been testing your own constitution here at the Yawning Portal. One of the best places in town to do it. I think the adventures have been very accurately summarized, but if you'd like to share anything else about previous sessions, or about the current state of Saya's relationship with the Fang Gang, that'd be fine as well.
So, Saya's relationship with the Fang Gang is that of unexplored territory. She's literally was just told to work with these people in order to start paying off her debt. The debt that her to Goldblood that was incurred by her patron of all people, and therefore she's not thrilled to be doing this particular task, but she will work with these people until that task is done or until she's dead, whichever comes first. She notices that this group is very much a strong, tightly knit family unit, and she doubts if she can ever fulfill a role within that space without showing they could be part of the family or doing something else otherwise. Aside from that, she had a little bit of a mini monologue rant when everyone else was going to that portal. It's like, this is too crazy even for me. And before going into the portal that took them into that handy dandy alleyway of grossness.
Indeed, you've suffered a few adventures with Fang Gang thus far at the behests of your two patrons, your Archfey patron of your powers, and the individual who holds your debt and the entire Fang Gang's debt, Goldblood, the Red Dragon banker who owns a majority of Waterdeep. it's been difficult for you to find your place within this group, a little bit like the sixth member of the Jackson Five, or Neil Young trying to hook up with Crosby, Stills, and Nash, but you've been making it work, and the group seems to have accepted you as one of their own. Go ahead and take inspiration, Saya.
Gobs has last session was trying to do the sensible thing and try and get information about blood from Lord Walrus. And we found out that he is probably, if not just the richest person in Waterdeep. And his contracts are tight and stuff like that. And during the downtime that we received, Gobs participated in an afternoon tournament, got some money and a bird.
Very well said. Taking an opportunity during that downtime to reap the rewards of your previous victory at that tournament, you returned with quite a hefty winner's purse and a mage-bred owl, falcon, if I recall right, on your shoulder.
Yeah.
That gentle thing is almost definitely going to eat. We'll see how that goes, though. Gobs, very well said. Mert, the moneylender, as well, as he told you during your meeting with him, seems to have gained quite an addition to his fortune, betting on the dark horses that you guys were being sent into Blue Alley. Can you remember exactly how that situation worked?
He was betting on us that we would make it through. He didn't even participate because he does not respect the Lords of Waterdeep. And he was going low on funds. He threw it all on a gamble, and I forgot the exact measurement, but we considerably multiplied his income.
Well said. Betting against many of the masked lords of Waterdeep, the movers and shakers of city government, as it had been revealed to you that Blue Alley was a literal tourist trap in some senses, a dungeon intended to lure people into it for the express purpose of televising their struggles. Go ahead and take inspiration there, Gobs. Let's see. I think everyone's contributed at this point to our recap. With that in mind, the party once again reconvenes over a plate of fried quipper and chips and a little bit of early autumn ale being served to the party. The sound of the bar room around you floats amicably. A few tones of music being played by a bard with 3 strings upon his lute upon the stage, many snatches of conversation floating throughout, yet your minds are upon your own business. The quest that has been offered to you by your previous employer, Lord Walrus, and it seems like Gentle Thing's manic obsession over Edna the Anchor's rat bag. What now, adventurers? The city is yours.
So, as I have finished a gulp of ale, now with the family together, is it a good time to talk about that offer that we were given?
Yes, but first, you should have seen her. I haven't seen Gentle Thing take so many hits before. Like, look at this face.
Gentle Thing will, smile, and, a little bit of blood will, drool out of her lips, and she'll slurp it back in.
I was actually about to have Saya come over. It's like, oh, you got something on your face, and she would use 2 fingers to get off your face, and it's like, just lick it.
Okay.
Sour.
Well, you can. I won't suck the blood out of my mouth as it drools out of me. You can do
This is the weirdest fucking opening.
And that's how it works. It's just like, a little sour.
Rizaki would have been so proud. And I'm a manager now.
I'm sure.
I mean, you've got the contract and everything to prove it, Echo.
Yeah, slick.
Does it look official?
It's official, but it doesn't say Echo. It says Irvin on it.
I don't think that's legally binding.
What? No one else is going to know. And technically, I could be Irvin. Sometimes.
So, it's very clear that you've gotten injured. Do you need medical attention? I mean, that bruises are gonna last forever if you don't.
Gentle Thing will nod and say, I also could just really use a good night's sleep.
The cure for everything. I
Who's a
wonder if the
good
stars
little
are out
bird?
tonight.
How big is the bird in comparison to Gobs?
I think the bird is basically Gob's height, if I remember correctly.
I mean, that's up to you to describe. It is a large falcon. It is a hunting raptor, probably designed to take prey as large as, you.
Yeah, so I guess normally it would be like sitting on his shoulder, but it's like just sitting like right on both shoulders, like right above him. So I would imagine it is like just like I think it would be like he would still be taller than it, but it was like it's still relatively close in height.
Echo, why don't you switch seats with Gentle Thing?
Gentle Thing is still drooling blood.
Saya would have just started just like using a napkin to wipe off your face, just like, come on now, you can at least care about...
Gobs is feeding his bird.
Feeding it what?
The equipper and chips.
As you hold up the piece of quipper, it lashes down with its sharp beak, nearly taking your finger off, as it looks at you with a sharp eye.
It's a good bird.
Is that thing even trained?
Yes. Not by me, but it's trained.
Make it do a flip.
Alright. Hold on. Let me ask Durin first. Durin, can I let my bird do a flip?
As you call across the raucous chatter within the bar, you can see that a couple of gnolls have begun to bite into each other's throats in a blood frenzy at the bar, while a number of other patrons are betting on it. He seems preoccupied for the moment. You get the sense, though, within the atmosphere in the yawning portal, as long as you are not actively burning down the building, you should be fine.
All right, I'll ask the bird to do a flip.
Make an animal handling check with advantage.
8.
With an 8, the bird absolutely does a flip as it lifts Gobs out of the seat, fully rotates like a fucking pro wrestler move, and slams him into the floor behind you. The bird then perching once again on his shoulders.
Yay. I like him.
You take a single point of bludgeoning damage, Gobs. With a 13, Gentle Thing, the bird looks back at you as you gaze upon it. Its white coat, its yellow eyes, unblinking as they study your own. You get the sense that this creature is every bit as much of a predator as you, and in your weakened state, you in fact think that it's probably sizing you up.
I get up and switch places with Echo.
Well, if you plan to bring that down there, and I will point I will point at the large hole in the middle of the room. I wouldn't get too attached.
So we are going down.
As long as none of you have issues with it. I've cleared my schedule, so to speak.
I would like to personally go to the sewers first. Yeah, I haven't been there in a while.
Go to the what?
Sewers.
Why?
I don't know. It's roomy down there.
If you don't have a clear and precise reason why, then why do you want to go to the sewers? Is there something you're not telling us?
Oh my god, it's because of the rat bag. He wants one too. We should all get matching rat bags. Saying it now.
No, I don't want a rat bag.
It'll be so cute. You can have a rat hat.
I don't want anything to do with rodents.
Can you imagine with his little paws, his like little ear thingies?
I want a rat bracer.
The party, having heard of the famous were-rat designer Vui Ratan living within the Waterdeep sewers, I don't know what mania has come over them, yet I witness it, and I respect it.
Gentle Thing would ask if Lord Walrus said whether or not he would pay us a little bit for gear. I don't remember the answer to that.
He's going to sponsor us, but it's I don't remember if there was payment up front. I know there's payment after we clear
He did.
floor,
In
but
fact, he offered to sponsor your expedition. Specifically, he offered you guys 1,000 gold pieces up front, and then in addition to that, 1,000 gold pieces multiplied by the level of dungeon that you clear out. So if you were to progress from the first to the second floor, another 1,000. From the second to the third, another 2,000, so on and so forth.
Okay, perfect. Because I feel like we don't really know what to expect down there, but we should probably ensure that we have gear. And still look at Ruzak, who only has what we've given him.
Yes.
Don't you think you could use some more gear?
I've survived on less.
you've almost died. What, twice? You've died once and almost twice within 2 days. We're gearing up.
Treat yourself. We can have a little shop day. We could get new outfits. Oh my god, it'd be so cute.
A little rat dress, a little rat bag.
Oh my god, rat shoes.
Maybe my bird would let me get it a rat onesie.
You all have a brief and vivid mental image of Gobs being carried off in the rat onesie by the bird, never to be seen again.
Oh my gosh. Once we get one of those one of those baby holders that's a rat thing and we could put Gobs in it. You'll never be left behind again.
Well, I'll only be procuring the necessities. You all are, of course, welcome to spend what you wish. Except for you. And I glare at Gobs.
It's fine. I'm not gonna make a bomb again. It's fine.
You said that the second time you made a bomb.
And I know I said it the 5th time, but it's fine.
And don't forget about the 7th time. I will never forget that.
Okay, but to be fair, a perfume bomb is a good idea. I think it's a good idea.
It is, but don't experiment on it by going, Echo, look, and then chucking it at my face.
Yeah.
Echo, you remember
What?
vividly, you could see smells for days.
It was horrible.
Regardless,
It's a 1,000-yard stare.
regardless, if we are all in agreement, first thing in the morning we will head to. Did we learn his real name by
Indeed.
now?
Mert the Moneylender, also
Mert the
known
Moneylender.
as Mert the
That's right.
Merciless.
First thing in the morning, we will return to our friend in the dock ward, acquire our funds, and perhaps shop in the afternoon and head into the dungeon in the evening.
I'm so excited for tomorrow. Haven't done a good shopping spree in so long.
Very good. If there are no objections, is the party settled on a course of action in that case?
Mm-hmm. Was that like 1,000 gold pieces per person, or like as the group?
As the group.
Okay.
Very good. In that case, the party finishes their repast, finishes their drinks, and unless there are any other conversations, preparations, or explorations of the city of Waterdeep, you are welcome to enjoy your night's sleep. It sounds like
I will.
Go on.
I will not go to sleep until I'm certain that Gobs is asleep.
Very
Mhm.
good. How many inn rooms
Gabs-
does the party purchase this night?
I already purchased 4 last session.
That's right. It was you and Gobs in the one room, and then everyone else in an individual room.
Correct.
Very good. Led up to your comfortable quarters by Bonnie the barmaid as she comes to take your dishes. The beds are well made. There is an early spring air filtering in through the windows, a jug of cool water upon each of the bedside tables. Do any of you wish to detail any of the hours that you pass in the night? Or should we simply wake the next morning ready to face the day?
Saya would go out into the night and look at the stars, see if her patron had finally achieved what she wanted with the gold that she had gotten. Maybe a little spitefully, but that's how Saya will spend her time.
Saya, as you gaze up over the city of Waterdeep into the night air, it is a cool, clear evening. Nary a cloud in the sky except for a few thunderheads forming out over the bay. As you gaze up at it, searching the stars, what exactly are you searching for here? What patron are you talking about? What constellation are you seeking?
I didn't realize D&D had constellations.
I was under the impression that this is one of your patron's own creation.
Oh, okay. Should be looking towards the hunter and the hunted, something that her patron had mentioned a long time ago, talking about how there's always the eternal chase between the two, and while it's unlikely that the chase will last forever, it is something that will go on in the eyes of every person.
Well said. Why do you search for this constellation? What's on your mind?
Feels like I'm chasing around a group of children.
Very fair. As you gaze into the sky, as you consider your own bondage, your own servitude having been sold, your patron made quite a pretty penny off of you. Gold necessary to move the stars themselves. She described it to you once Imagine, if you would, a perfect wheel in the night sky, nothing in its center, and a respectful distance from all of the other stars around it. You could not quite see the beauty in it, and as you look toward the night sky, you do not glimpse any such constellation that has come to take its place amongst the stars. You begin to wonder whether your patron's words were true, whether that was their ambition in the first place, or perhaps the movements of the stars are simply too slow to see with the naked eye.
It's a true pity, you know? Can't see what's going on. Lack a lot of tools. You at least gave me magic, you know. I appreciate that. You healed my wounds when I was dying. That's great. I thought you would, not sell me into servitude after just starting our journey together. Yeah, I like that. You know, it leads me to question so much of what you said. But that's something I can worry about for another time. And with this group, they are a tight-knit family. It's hard to say whether or not they are a functional family in the sense of, one person making sure that they don't do something silly. Seems like they encourage it. It drives me wild. But, could be worse. Based off the stories you've told me, at least. She's totally having a monologue with herself, by the way. I am not assuming that the patron is there.
You would not, as so often your prayers have gone unanswered, yet you feel a pressure upon the bed behind you. Someone else seated upon it. You turn to face the presence.
Of course. Someone's going to sit on a bed next to me. I'm going to turn around and just like, huh?
What does she look like?
She looks eccentric, to say the least. Extravagant fashion. Long flowing hair that cascades down her shoulders. A relatively risque scant dress. Glittering small stars in her hair, almost like it's specked with glitter. She carries a constant object in her hand, whether it be a small pen, whether it be a small weapon, or even just playing with her hair. She's always has something in her hand. She cannot seem to not fidget. Her eyes are like perfect black pools. There's almost no pupil in them. Yeah, I say almost because were it not for Saya's own celestial sight that was gifted to her by this very patron, it can now see through the magical darkness that shields those eyes. Just tiny little pearlescent blue pieces. Bit mischievous, always. It's hard to tell exactly what they're thinking.
Saya. She looks at you, turning over in her hand a thin sewing needle between two fingers, and say, I had hoped that you would be able to appreciate a little bit of chaos. I had hoped that you would be able to see the fun in all of this. Are you really still moping around the city?
Well, there's times for chaos. There's always times for a bit of mischief and fun. But you sold me. I'm a slave to a fucking loan shark.
My dear, you sold yourself. To me. As property.
To you.
Yes.
To you, to save my life.
Yes. And you're alive, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Very good.
Unless you killed me. Am I dead now?
Are you? Is this what death feels like? Are you still worried? You seem worried to me.
Of course I'm worried.
About what, darling? What has gone wrong so far? She gestures up toward the night sky, pointing toward a pocket void of stars and says, look, that's real estate. That's your work. You should be proud.
But how? How can I be proud of something I wasn't directly responsible for? Yes, I captured your eye, but that doesn't mean that I can move the stars.
Well, no, of course not. You cannot. But you also captured Sir Goldblood's eye, and it is with his coinage that I have been able to employ those who are capable of moving the stars. You should be proud. The hunter, the hunted. Child, which are you?
If I had the choice, I'd be the hunter.
Well,
Because at least then I could choose my path rather than having to run away from it.
she gestures broadly toward the city of Waterdeep's many stars. Its candles, its lanterns, the songs eking up out between the alleyways of those still wakeful enough at night to call out the hours of the watch or to sing drunkenly. And she says, don't you have choices here? I mean, certainly the debt is great, but I don't believe there are any stipulations on how you must pay it.
That is true.
What would you rather be doing with your time?
Well, I definitely wouldn't want to just be performing out on the streets for 2 silver a day or some shit.
Well, child, as she looks toward you, you can see the silver sewing needle approaching your own temple, yet with a flash of sleight of hand it disappears into her palm, and suddenly the hand is curling itself along your own tresses, and she says, if I had not sold you, that's all you would be doing. Staring at the night sky, staring at my own beauty, and wasting away. That's all you humans are, without a little push. Don't you understand that?
I suppose I do understand.
Well,
I will say, it does make sense.
then you should be thanking me. Really. You can start now.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for giving me this chance of choice.
Absolutely.
I will also say this. I've never felt alone ever since you've saved me. And that's something I am eternally grateful for. Yeah, I know I'm getting mushy and you hate mushy, but let me get mushy.
Well, good. If you find something else to sell, then please come again. You see
Oh.
the blue in her eyes is the last thing to fade, as with that comment, she slips back into the very veil from which she came.
Big as always. God damn it, I love that woman.
As you
And that will be-
gaze- Go on.
No, you got.
I was going to say, you probably spend a little bit more time gazing at the pocket devoid of stars within the night sky that she had pointed out to you. Yet, I do not think much else transpires within the night, at least no interventions on my end.
Sounds fair.
Ruzak, Gentle Thing, Echo, Gobs, any activities during the hours of the night?
Gobs will be tinkering around with his crossbow. And eventually applying the repeating shot infusion.
Very good. Ruzak, you are awoken during the middle of the night as a crossbow bolt goes ricocheting around the room, dragging a furrow through the fur upon your scalp.
I'm going to. You know when you go to a hotel and they've got the covers tucked so tightly under the mattress you can't move?
Yeah.
I'm gonna try and pin Gobs under the covers by wrapping them under the mattress as far as I can.
Very good, Gobs. How do you react to that?
Gobbs wants to continue tinkering. So he's gonna try and get away.
I'll let him go and I'll just sigh. Do I have a balcony or something?
Certainly, there is a small balcony which overlooks the slick city streets of Waterdeep.
I'll just step out to the balcony for a bit until Gob settles down, and if I have a view of the ocean, I'll just look off to the ocean for a while. If not, I'll just watch the streets of Waterdeep.
Thunderheads that were gathering over the ocean, beginning to move in toward the city. The distant crackling of lightning, comforting to you somehow. Occasionally you hear Gob's experimentation punctuated by more bursts of yelping or twanging or the burrowing of a crossbow bolt into the wood of the room. Anything else?
No.
Very good. Gentle thing. Echo. How do you pass the night?
I think Gentle Thing would go out on the balcony and try to climb up on the roof of the building and would kind of just scan Waterdeep. Her home is the streets, essentially, and it's nice to have a bed, but I mean, she's an alley cat, so she'd probably just look out amongst the town, see if she can spot anyone in town, like those, you know, when you're like from a town, you're like, oh, that's Dirt Kicker.
Yep.
All he does is just kick dirt. Yeah, try to see if there's any of those people here.
Go ahead and give me a perception check.
Okay.
With a 14, you do see a familiar individual. You can see the hunched-over old half-elven woman, a sea elf, by the slight blue tinge to her skin. You've never known her name, but for as long as you remember, the Shell Woman has gathered shells down by the wharf and pushed them throughout the city in order to sell in her small cart. Never much for conversation, always asking an incredible price for the trinkets that she picked off of the beach. Yet 2 or 3 gold pieces from some rich tourist can more than pay the wages over the course of a year's pushing. You can see the old woman, her slightly greenish strands of hair over her face, never taking much care of herself, mothering as she walks, pushing a cartload of conches, seashells, clams, and the like.
I think Gentle Thing would smile and just take comfort in seeing her. And she'd kind of watch her till she disappeared around a corner or got too far down the beach. Would yawn and then tuck herself into bed.
Very good. Echo, any activities during the night?
I'd imagine she'd like get into her room and maybe like have a really nice bath and, you know, have just like candles lit and have this really chill vibe. Like get rid of all of her appearances and just be able to, like, for the first time in like 3 or 4 days, just be in her like changeling form for a while, and lie there for a little bit in the bath, and then she kind of gets up and gets out, grabs some of the pillows off of the bed along with the duvet and kind of wraps it around herself, and then leaves her room, goes over to Gentle Thing's room, and just knocks on the door, waiting for an answer.
Is this when I'm on the roof?
Probably not. This is right around the time that you've begun to slip into your bed, just on the verge of sleep as you hear the rapping upon your door.
Gentle Thing would open the door and peer out. Seeing its echo, I'd probably open the door a little bit wider.
Just with like this giant like bundle of like, she's like got like the duvet like completely wrapped around her because she hasn't like been bothered. She's so tired. She hasn't been bothered to get like out of her changeling form and into something else. And she's got like a bunch of pills in front of her. She's like, okay, I'm ready for bed. It just slips in underneath your arm. It just tosses all the pillows onto the bed, climbs onto the bed, and like a duvet burrito, looks at you and just goes, okay, good night. Falls asleep.
Gentle Thing will, very cat-like, tiptoe around Echo as to not disturb her, and will curl up beside her.
Very good. The night passes comfortably. By morning, the storm has rolled in, and you awake to the sounds of raindrops upon the eaves of the yawning portal, thunder outside the window. You once again gather within the common room, enjoying a delicious breakfast of goat meal. Oats and goat. Classic adventurer fare. What now? Are there preparations to be made? Or does the party wish to descend into that beckoning blackness known as Undermountain?
I think we're gonna get money, right?
Money and shopping.
Mm-hmm.
Get the shopping, guys. Everyone's ready.
Well,
Yeah,
I
money.
suppose.
Money and shopping.
Off to Lord Walrus's place.
Very good.
No, wait, is that where we go?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Very good. The party presses their way through the streets of Waterdeep once again from the yawning portal. It is a muted, gray day, the cries of hawkers occasionally reaching your ears, yet for the most part there is little conversation or interaction as people move with their cloaks drawn close, their hoods moved up, as the early spring rains here can be quite a downpour in the city of Waterdeep. Yet, the hour or so that it takes you to press your way from Midtown to the far extents of the Harbor Ward, making your way yet again up to the hilltop mansion which houses the Merciless, you can see again the wide vaulted gates of bronze. You can see yet again the sweeping landscape of moving topiaries and lawn peacocks screeching about as they flare their feathers. And yet again, the small silver bell that stands before the gates that you last used to summon the Majordomo who invited you in.
I will ring the bell this time.
As you ring the bell, yet again, you can see the stern form of the half-elven Majordomo dressed in a fine, slick, black Waterdavian suit, rolling her eyes noticeably even from the 50 feet or so away as she begins to move across the drive up to the gates yet again. She looks at you, her tightly braided blonde hair hanging behind her, her eyes narrowing as she says, I don't believe that Lord Walrus has any appointments this morning, particularly not with trash, such as yourselves.
I look at her shoes.
They are not scuffed. They are beautifully polished. In fact, maybe a little bit of even over vigorously, one might say.
But they are the same shoes.
They are the same shoes.
I so missed you as well. Whatever your name was.
Hopefully
just
not one to be sullied by your lips.
Could you just please tell your boss that we've arrived? I'm sure he'll want to see us.
Make a persuasion check.
One.
With a 1, she looks at you and says, right, I'll get right on that. Blinks at you once, and then begins to walk as slow as humanly possible back across the lawn.
Alright, Echo, do the thing.
I was gonna say, does it look like she's actually going to get him?
Make an insight check.
I mean,
You're not sure exactly how deep this pettiness runs, but you know at the very least she's gonna make you wait.
it's like she knows I'm just going to do it this way. And she like points her finger towards the mansion.
Better
And it's
idea. Better idea. What if I tie a pebble with the message that we're here and just shoot it through the window?
Because then we're just doing property damage to the guy we want money from.
I'm gonna kick Gobs.
Echo proceeds to send the message.
Bird attack!
Hi, Mr. Walrus. Stop, bird. Feathers. We're here outside, and your servant lady, I forget her name. It's like Dick or something. She's not letting us in again.
No, it's Richard.
Oh, I got told it was Richard.
After a moment, you hear a grumbling response to the message. Saying, oh, is this... I'm sorry, is this about the product? Or... Fang Gang? Yes? Yes?
Yes.
Oh, yes, sorry. Fang Gang here.
Sending another message. Very good. After a moment, you hear a grumbling, weary response, and a little bit of coughing as well afterwards. I'll instruct her to let you in. Meet in the parlor. I take this, it means you've considered my offer.
Yes, we have, and thanks, Boo. See you in a moment.
So, a grumbling Aedra once again leads the party in to the same well-appointed drawing room that you were last left in. You can see the Celestine unicorn still standing upon the platform that it was placed by the party, really pulling the room together in addition to the gold-framed portraits and the strange dragon artifacts that sit upon marble pedestals nearby. A few moments later, you are led into the room by Aedra, absolutely no offer of refreshment, and an absolute attempt by her to stomp on Ruzak's feet as he moves in. That's going to be a 14 on an athletics check to resist.
Athletics only or acrobatics?
Or acrobatics.
I'm gonna use my inspiration.
Yeah.
That's how deep the petty goes. Yep, with the 20, you absolutely manage to maneuver out of the way as she does everything she can to scuff your shoes. Having been left, a few moments later, you see your erstwhile patron, Lord Walrus, not dressed in the same finery, in the same hat, in the same, shall we say, charisma that he was last time. This time, you see a fat old man shuffling in a velvet bathrobe, kind of scratching at his whiskers, bleary-eyed, coughing as well, as he looks toward the rest of you and says, "Forgive me. I would stand on ceremony, yet I have very little to stand on at all in this moment."
Have we intruded at a bad time, perhaps?
Oh, not at all. As good a time as there is any right now. I take it this means you've reconsidered my offer.
Well, as I'm sure you can tell, we're not too big on ceremony. As I look around at how we're all dressed.
Just wearing just wearing like a costume dress.
Yes, we have decided as a group that it is in our best interest to accept the offer.
He nods, clapping his hands together. You can see that he apparently has slept in those golden rings that sit about his pudgy fingers. Pulls at his mustache slightly and says, "Very well. In that case, if the terms are clear, I'll have the contract drawn up, and unless you have any questions, that I believe you know what your next destination is, that great pit within the portal."
Perhaps a stop in the marketplace first, but yes.
He waves his hand and says, Naturally. A party that were to descend into that place unprepared would be, well, dead. Though, you've proven yourselves well enough in the alley. I think you have the talent that it takes. Tell me, what preparations do you intend to make with 1,000 gold pieces? It would do me well to think that my investment is being spent wisely.
Well, I myself will need to reacquire some items that I lost in the alley. Bag, simple materials, rope, such things. I imagine I will spread the gold out equally amongst ourselves. Let our members prepare what they feel is in their best interests. Unless, of course, you have any guidance, being as great an adventurer as you are.
He shakes his head, and he says, well, equipment is what it comes down to, Your rope, your rations, your 10-foot poles, and your potions of healing. Beyond that, it really comes down to your own guts and your own wits. Yet, you can spend, you can't quite spend 1,000 gold on rope and rations. I'm just curious how you intend to make the best use of your fortune. As you see his gaze fall upon the rest of the party as well.
I was actually hoping to keep it quite simple. New armor, fitted perhaps, and then a bow.
Simple.
I really
tastes.
want
Mm-hmm.
I really want glamour armor. It's just like so cute.
He looks at you with a grin.
I can literally just like look at you and like cast some fairy dust on you, and then you'll be glamorous.
No, because it works with my whole thing. Trust me, when I get it, you'll see.
She just crunches her eyes. Just okay, sure, yes.
Well, there's a great deal to be said for feeling stylish in your adventures. Makes you more daring, makes you more bold, makes you more approachable. Seems reasonable to me. Well, unless you have any advice to ask, then I believe that your purpose is clear. Aedra, bring the contract, the standard form. Should all be drawn up. Yes? She nods once, moves over to a writing desk within the room, and removes a sheath of parchment from it, placing it upon the table before Ruzak with a stink eye, absolutely, thumping slightly as it's several pages of parchment. Mert gestures toward it and says, You're welcome to read over it as much as you like, but the terms are simple. The ones that I explained to you. You'll be paid for as much as you clear out, and a little stipulation in there that my initial investment, should you abscond with it, I will absolutely reclaim with force.
I'll just
Sally?
skim through it, make sure everything's as he says.
Dobbs was also going to skim through it.
Yeah, give me a pair of investigation checks in that case.
I would spend some more time deeply looking into it. Having made a deal myself, it's wise.
Dobbs is doing a good look, so if he wants to make a legal contract, he can, because he has forgery proficiency. What check investigation?
Yep.
No.
The 16, I mean, Ruzak, you're not exactly a lawyer, but you've learned enough about doublespeak from Thieves' Cant to see that really this contract is written in plain language. Not a great deal of abstruse terminology, and from what you can tell, it really is just an agreement about what you'll be paid, what you're expected, and an addendum at the end that says that if you don't attempt this quest whatsoever, then he will take his money back by any means legally available to a Lord of Waterdeep, which you would know to be extensive.
Very well. I assume I've been provided with a quill or some sort.
You were not, and in fact, Lord Walrus, as you begin to look for one, Lord Walrus has to clear his throat before Aedra very begrudgingly produces a small plumbago pencil from her front coat pocket.
I will sign my name and pass off the paper and pencil to the rest of the group.
Does the rest of the party sign in that case?
So it's I think Saya would look over for any detail involving like I own all of your property, or I have the right to ask any favor during the time of this engagement of ours. She's looking for hidden clauses that aren't.
Sure, we've already had 2 investigation checks from the party, but if you wish to make a third, you may.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You find nothing that the party has not already revealed here, Saya. From what you can see, the contract is written in very plain language, and the clauses are simple. An agreement on what you'll be paid, what you'll be financed, and what will happen to you should you abscond with that financing.
Very good. She'll sign it.
Very good. As Saya's signature begins to dry upon the page, does anyone abstain, or does the rest of the party sign one after the other?
Looks at it, looks at Ruzak, looks at it. Like, well, if it means we get money, signs the echo.
Dobbs will examine it again, but not looking for anything, just looking at format so he can forge a legal document maybe in the future. All right, so that's how that works. All right, then he signs his name.
Very good. Gentle thing as well.
Gentle Thing will also look around the paper, but doesn't really see any reason not to sign it, so she will sign it also.
Very good. As the signatures begin to dry upon the paper, Lord Walrus nods to Aedra as she rolls up the contract and places it within a small scroll tube. Moving it back to the same writing desk that she obtained it from, Lord Walrus begins to move over once again to the same portrait that he flipped open last time, to the same wall safe once again, and begins to produce from it. He looks back to the party and says, "A bit low on coinage for the moment. Will you accept gold pieces, or gemstones rather, or would that be inconvenient?"
As long as we have a even split of gemstones, I think it'd be fair.
We'll figure this
Or
out
release.
amongst yourselves. He begins to reach
Alright.
into the safe, a coughing fit taking him once again, as for a brief moment something skithers out of the safe across the floor, Adra leaping toward it and snatching it up with a flash of the hand before...
Oh, what is it?
Make
What
a
is
perception
it?
check.
Can I roll perception? What is it?
Yeah, make a perception check.
I want to
Yeah.
do this as well. I want to know.
With a 23, Gentle Thing, it looks very much like a small figurine of a four-legged animal. Precisely what, you cannot say. Small enough to fit in the palm. As she moves forward and snatches it up, Mert looks back at her and says, "Thank you. Curse these hands. Not what they once were, I will say." As he begins to simply scoop an embarrassing load of gemstones into a pouch before you, takes a moment, looks at it for a second, as if a baker eyeballing enough flour in a recipe, and then scoops a few more in on top. Once again, placing before the party upon the small coffee table that the contract was signed, a bulging bag of gemstones, sapphires, rubies, maybe a couple of small diamonds in there as well. Looks toward you each and says, "It should be sufficient. If you find that you've been shortchanged, then, well, live with it. I'm certain you haven't been."
Very well.
Yeah, Gentle Thing will nod and reach out for the sack.
The sack is heavy in your hand, full of potential.
Well, I suppose if that is it, we'll be off.
I have plenty of retirement to enjoy today. Perhaps late lunch, an early bedtime. I'll be looking forward to word of your exploits, though. Nothing stays secret in Waterdeep for long, and I even make my way down to the portal to place a wager on your success myself. Consider that a sign of good faith, aye?
Oh,
Mm,
I have one question that no one's given me an answer on. Can we bet on herself?
He looks at you and says, "I believe that's generally considered against the spirit of the thing. The main thing would be find a bookie, though. That'd work with you. Plenty of bar bets bartered around within the yawning portal. It's always entertaining to see who goes down and who comes up. But as far as big ticket leagues, I don't think you'd be want to doing that with your gold. Better spent on your preparations, aye."
All right.
Do you have any way for us to be able to update you on our conquest?
He looks at you with a raised eyebrow and says, "Well, you've done well enough just shouting into my bedroom from the streets so far.
I know, but there's always so much effort walking over here sometimes to do that.
Make a persuasion check."
Okay.
Can I give her advantage, adding in the thing saying, "I'm certain you don't want us to be yelling into your room all the time. It's certainly inconvenient, and it makes for a poor image on both sides."
Sure. Go ahead and roll with advantage, Echo.
15.
With 15, he considers it for a second and says, "Well, If my reputation could be ruined, it would have been a long time ago. Wealth insulates you from such things, but a fair point. My own legs wouldn't appreciate an undue journey. I'll tell you that. He looks toward his bodyguard, says, Adrian, any of the paper, the weird magic kind? Top drawer on the left. No, a counterclockwise. Other counterclockwise. As she produces from it, you can see that same dark blue paper that the previous flying bird, the previous paper bird that you had been given was produced from. He looks to you, your party, and says, don't have them folded myself for the time being, but figure it out, or just make a paper airplane and write your note in the middle. I'm sure it'll get its way back to me.
Dookie. Take the paper.
Go ahead and add 3 sheets of that paper added to your inventory. Effectively, paper birds. Deconstructed paper birds.
I have paper, guys. Today's a good day.
So unless there is any more business with your employer, Lord Walgris, you are sent forth from his mansion with 3 magically enchanted sheets of paper, appropriate for constructing paper birds as messengers, and a bulging bag of gemstones, maybe more than 1,000 gold pieces that you had agreed upon.
Right.
Moving back out into the dock ward here. What next, guys?
Can I look at some of those? Is there anything blue in there? Ooh, maybe something purple.
There are a few sapphires and amethysts within the count, certainly.
You see Saya reaching in for some of those gems and just like, this thing's the size of my hand.
Gentle Thing will smile and close the bag, but will leave the blue gemstone that Saya picked in Saya's hand. If that makes sense. Like, she's like closing the bag, but like letting you keep your special gem.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, okay.
She just picked the sapphire and is like, ooh, pretty. And you're like, no more for you.
Yeah, yeah.
Ruzak's just glaring at Saya. That goes towards your share.
Now, if you want it, yeah, I can put it back in the bag.
I'm simply under the impression that it would be in our best interest to sell all of the gems.
She pouts and she hands the gem back to Gentle Thing.
Do we... I'm sure living in Waterdeep, we know of a place that trades in gems in the market somewhere.
Within the market, certainly, there are jewelers that you could sell these to, yet for the simplest exchange, your best bet would probably be to move to the Church of Joaquin, the money-lender goddess, the goddess of trade, with a very powerful, has a very powerful presence here within Waterdeep as a merchant city. And if you wanted to simply exchange one form of currency for another, that would probably be the simplest way to do it.
Am I aware if said goddess's church provides fair rates, or is it a easier but less profitable exchange?
You can make a religion or a history check if you wish.
Yeah.
They are definitively fair rates. What you will not get at the Temple of Joaquin is an advantage.
But they're fair rates.
If you wish to, say, transform your gems into more gold than they're worth, then it might be worth moving about the jewelers of Waterdeep and seeing who is in need of what stock right now. Yet, that would be a time-consuming process.
was gonna
Also,
say, didn't
Echo
Echo have
has-
something like that?
Yeah, Echo has the distort value.
I do have magic for that. If you want to use one of my slots for entering a dungeon.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, do you want to go for it?
Well, I mean,
Oh,
could
more
always-
money.
we could always enter tomorrow morning if the profit is enough.
Okay.
Do we want to do the stuff that we should? Do we want to take an extra day to prep, or do we want to go there today? If we take an extra day to prep, we have more time to do stuff.
Yeah, take the day. What's our rush?
Take the day, and I can just start
Only the thousands of
valuing it.
gold being held over our heads every day.
But we
Well-
could be having more than thousands of gold right now.
Like, the thing is, we just have to do it in what I would expect is we have to start the. We have to go in down at least at a relatively soon, but I think we have a day.
Is the bag no more than 1 foot on a side, Ben?
Oh, the bag of gems? Oh, the bag of gems is like a small purse. It's no more than, say, 5 inches on a side.
Nice. So I can distort value the entire bag of gems.
Well, let's go find the most well-known jeweler we can.
Very good. Does the party know a guy? Or do you simply begin asking about?
I think we don't know a guy. Unless anyone else
Wouldn't it
wants to.
just be easier to go to the church and get the gold value?
Like that's kind of what's the option. Like, we might as well just take the day so we're not rushed with our equipment, right? So we can take the day if we want equipment made in a short time span, we can start it. Right? So we might as well just go to
opposed
the
being
temple.
paid more gold for the same amount of jewels.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the thing is, it's a fair amount. It's not a bad amount. They're going to give you a fair value. They're going to give you what the item is what the closest thing to be would be base worth of the item.
And if we distort that value already, could potentially get a little bit more.
Maybe, but
More.
we are. But I would say if we're going to distort value, we don't go to the church. But if we want to distort the value, we go around town to the jewelers.
I think we should distort value. This is the time.
If that's what we want to do, I would be fine with that. But I would not want to distort value while entering a goddess of trade's temple.
Yeah.
They probably have some sort of warding against that anyway, so. Or people watching for that at least.
I would certainly.
I mean, my distort value, the duration is 8 hours. It's a 1 minute cast time. So
I would certainly prefer to try and get more.
Alright, then do we want to break up? Some of us break up, go do stuff, or do we want to all stay together?
Well, we can't really split up until we have money in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
Alright.
During their
Although,
conversation, I'll be casting, because it takes up to a minute. So while they're doing this, I'll cast distort value on the bag of gems to make them look more pristine, more have a little
Shiny.
a little bit
Yeah.
of shine.
Very good. Taking that time as you channel the very essence of greed into the bag of gems that you hold here, the party takes a moment to consider, where are we going? Who are we selling to here within the city of Waterdeep? Are we just asking around where we can sell fine gemstones? That never goes wrong.
I feel like we could also just like
I think
scope out someone
I think
too
we-
and like follow them.
I think we should just go to the market as a starting spot because there has to be at least some jewelers there, and then we can uh, bounce off of them to other jewelers. Because if like we sell them what they need, it wouldn't be a weird question to ask, "Hey, do you know where some other jewelers are?"
That's a good idea.
Very good. The party picks their way back across town up to the market. I assume Ruzak holding the gems, or
General Thing is holding them, but we're gonna do sort of a protective formation around her.
okay. As she walks at the center of the pack as the party continues to move toward the market, you make your way up there. Someone give me a persuasion or investigation check as you begin to look for a decent jeweler. So
I'll do investigation.
Do you mean perception or did you mean persuasion?
persuasion, yeah, for information gathering purposes.
Investigation.
16.
Do you want me?
Yeah, 16's good enough here. As the party's making their way about the market, you do find that there is a dwarven woman dressed in upper middle class merchant's finery that is plying a stall of wedding rings. You can see an enormous Eton bouncer at her side, sort of slouching in a tremendous, basically a tremendous wicker chair that's been set up underneath a sunshade. He's fanning himself with one of his clubs very slowly.
Now, I imagine Echo would know this, having the spell, but me, as in Ryan, does not. Can you split up, for example, if you cast Distort Value on the bag and get the whole bag in the spell, could you then split up the gems and they would still...
Nah.
Okay.
So what now?
Well,
Found a jeweler.
Echo, I suppose this is your lead.
Hey, here
How-
I go. Do you want me to take the bag?
Yeah, take the bag. Tell her we've just returned from an excursion in the dungeon.
Oh,
And that's
wait.
where we found these.
Do we also want to sell the gems that we found in Blue Alley
Okay.
at the same time?
Yes.
Sure. I forgot about those.
Sure, pass them all over.
Yeah. Just.
Yeah.
I guess we just passed them over. All right. So what's in the?
Those are
piggy
not
bank?
in the distort value, though.
They're
No.
not in the distort value.
But we
as of-
have what they're worth beside them in the piggy bank anyways.
128 extra gold pieces worth.
Yeah, it's fine. That's fine. It's nice.
So who approaches? What do you say?
I will make my way to the jeweler. And I will say... Is it still morning?
It's
I don't
turning
say
into
that.
afternoon at this point.
I will say... Good morning, or... Well, I guess it's good afternoon now. How's your day been?
She looks toward you brightly and says, "Well, business has been good enough. Plenty of love in the air here in the early spring." She looks toward you and says, "Don't suppose you're in the market for a fine engagement ring, or maybe another piece of diamond jewelry to sit upon the finger? Pretty woman such as yourself, certainly deserving of a little bit of fine jewelry."
Oh my goodness, you honestly flatter me, and even though I've just met a man, I'm still seeing how it goes, but I'll definitely keep you in mind for those gorgeous rings you've got down there.
Well,
But
go on.
I'm actually here to see you today about exchanging some of these gems that I've gotten from an excursion into a dungeon.
She looks at you, her expression darkening just a little bit. You can see the smile kind of fade from her face. Not in the mood for buying here. Not in the business, rather. If you're in the market to be selling gems, though, she says, I do have a supplier, yes, who I often get my things from. I could point you in his direction if necessary. I don't buy uncut, you understand. Just a jeweler, not a gem cutter.
Oh, I'm sure, but I mean, have you at least looked at them before you make up your mind?
She looks at you with an raised eyebrow and says, I've seen plenty of jewels in my time, child, and I'm quite certain of how they fit into my business. I'm not sure what you could show me to change my mind. As I said,
I open the bag.
As you look toward she looks toward the brimming, not mountain, but the brimming mound of jewels practically threatening to overspill from the bag. She takes a sharp inhale and says, those are some pretty gems, there's no doubt about that. What kind of price were you trying to get?
Out of character, how much were they worth originally?
At least they were worth roughly 1,000.
I don't think anyone's
right?
actually counted these yet. I don't think anyone's actually gone into the process of looking at how much money you've gotten from Lord Walrus.
Yeah, we're just kind of assuming they're rough around 1,000.
All we know is he said that they were at least 1,000, if not more, in value.
1,000 to be
And
around.
we saw him
1,000.
put a couple diamonds in there too. So I mean, come on, there's more than 1,000 in there.
Well, I was.
Treat it as if its base value is like 1,000.
I would hope to get a good price around 1,500 GP.
She looks at you and says, 1,500? You should keep your voice down, child. Plenty of perked ears here within the market, and perhaps perhaps do that drawstring up as well. Just a bit of friendly advice. I'm sorry.
Oh.
I definitely cannot help you. Yet, as I've said, if you'd like, I could give you the name of my supplier. Man often sells me very fine cut gems. Might be interested in working out a deal with you if you're selling in bulk.
Could I insight her to see if she's trying to, like, trick me in a way?
Yeah, go for it.
Nope.
I mean,
She seems so honest.
it certainly does seem sincere. She was telling you to put that shit away, keep it close to your chest, go sell it somewhere else. I mean, she seems like she's got your best interests at heart.
Echo sort of like in the parts of where she's like, you don't know who's listening, all that kind of stuff. She like pretends like she's like dumb about it, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, you're so right," and she tightens it up and tucks it away, and goes, "I would love the name of your supplier if they're able to help me."
Man by the name of Xana Naxos works at the Slashed Crown up in the Trade Ward, A small building, easy to miss. Sits underneath, I can't remember. Sits underneath Bridal Shop.
Okay. That's Xana under Bridal Shop.
Says, a tiefling man. You should recognize him. More jewels on his horns than I think I've probably seen on the fingers of all of my customers before. Very likely to be receptive to what you're looking to peddle.
Perfect. And hey, I'll let him know that you sent me, so if I get a good cut, maybe he'll treat you to something.
She gives you a small smile and says, but of course, just let him know that Edna Duane from Diamond Cut Jewelry sent him the business. Always good to keep up relationships between partners, aye?
Of course. And again, have a lovely afternoon.
Very good.
She waves her bye and skips back to the party.
You can see her dabbing her forehead slightly of sweat as you begin to move away, beginning to breathe again for the first time since seeing that enormous bag of gemstones. You can see her mothering to her Etten bodyguard, who looks over, wondering whether she's okay. The party begins to make their way off, I assume, toward the Cut Crown as their next destination.
Well, this seems incredibly sketchy, Echo.
And she
yeah,
seems honest and very sweet.
yeah, Echo. I think it's best we just go towards the church and just get our gold value and not get fucked over.
Can you just stop this distortion?
No. It lasts 8 hours and it's non-concentration.
It just
Uh,
lasts the entire time.
Someone has to dispel magic.
I have an idea. Let's go to this supplier, but on the way, let's purchase a bag and fill it with rocks. And
I have a spare pouch. Don't wanna.
and
fill it.
should they try and double cross us, we'll have the real jewels elsewhere.
Okay.
Does this not sound like the absolute stupidest thing ever?
When you're talking about a profit of hundreds of gold, no, it does not.
It sounds like a con job is what we're doing.
Yeah.
That's how we've made our living for years. You didn't think you were working with upper class individuals here, did you?
I didn't expect upper class. I had hoped to get away from scoundrels.
Well, I mean, we're not scoundrels, you know.
Oh
just
yes, you're trying to
everything for a
distort
living.
value on
And plus,
gems
you
and sell them
said
for a higher profit than what they're worth. That sounds like a scoundrel to me.
Yes, I'm sure the people who trade in gems worth thousands of gold every day will suffer.
So much. And it's not like we were just put
You
to
do
death.
realize that when they realize that this is a con, they will know our faces?
They'll know Echo's face, which changes on the daily.
Mm-hmm.
I can't be a part of this. I'm sorry. I'll wait for you at the portal.
Okay.
No, we had Fang Gang sticks together, regardless of how stupid everyone else is being.
Mhm.
I've had-
Sorry,
I-
but this is not something I want to participate in. If you want to con some poor fool, you go ahead and do it without me.
I've had to deal with them for 10-ish, a little more than 10 years. You can deal with one afternoon.
As I said, my intentions are clear. I will go and wait. When we're ready to go down, I will go down.
If you do not wish to participate, I will not force you. But we all unfairly have nearly insurmountable debts held above our head.
Exactly. And that's why I'd rather go to get the job done so I can pay off this debt and see what happens next.
Like,
Why
I know
why
you're
are we still
embarrassed.
having this conversation? Just go. It's clear I can't change your mind.
I know you're like embarrassed by us, and that's why you don't want to do this.
If it were a matter of embarrassment, it would be a different issue. It's the issue of trying to con someone. The last time I was in a group and they consistently tried to con someone, they died.
Yeah, we've died. One of us has died as well because we were trying to do a basic job. This is what happens. It's just the industry. That's what happens. You get
Well,
caught, you get
technically,
killed.
all of us have died.
Yeah, we all died.
Ironically
I'm
enough, the one
talking
time,
about recently.
ironically enough, the one time we tried to do something
Right.
Oh my gosh, right? That's kind of funny.
But regardless, if you wish to return to the yawning portal, we will meet you there after.
He
I
only
won't-
nods silently and walks away.
Very good.
Rizak just sighs and has an annoyed look on his face. And I'm just gonna try and find on the way back random small rocks if there are any available
You
to
fill
fill.
you fill a pouch with rubble. No difficulties there.
Yeah. And then we will proceed to wherever we were guided towards.
Very good. You find your way into the Cut Crown within the Trades Ward. A little while later, you find yourself sitting across, Echo rather, would find herself sitting across a table from a resplendently dressed tiefling man in a short purple vest, black slacks, and a number of golden bracelets and ornaments over his arms. A truly preposterous number of jewels dangling from his curved horns, looking almost like a Christmas tree, tinkling with every turn of his head as he looks toward you and he says, "Well, Edna doesn't often send me clients, often the other way around, I'll be perfectly frank. What is it that you have to show me in that case?"
To be clear, out of character, the plan. Do I have both bags of rubble?
I was planning on either. Doesn't Gobs have like a bag of holding or something
Yeah,
along those lines?
I have a bag of holding on me. That's my backpack.
Okay, so I have like a bag of holding with both bags in it, and I can switch.
Yes, that was my plan.
Smart. Okay.
If they're both small enough to fit in there.
Yeah, they would be. They're barely a foot.
They're definitely be. It has a 2-foot diameter.
Okay.
She's like, well, I have some gems for you today, and Edna was so kind in telling me that you could like help me out exchanging them for some gold.
He looks at you. What kind of guise have you taken, by the way?
Oh gosh. For this one, I would imagine she wants to look like an adventurer. So she's got like half orc appearance. Female, maybe like 1 or 2 scars on like maybe like 1 across her cheek and like a couple across her arm, so it looks like she's been in a couple of fights.
Very good. He looks at you and he says, Possibly. I am always in need of new supply, although traditionally I receive the majority of my purchasing from the Guild of Delvers and Excavators. Official channels, you understand. The guild structure within Waterdeep, very exacting. Yet, what is it exactly you have to offer?
Well, and she like fumbles in her bag, not making her like arm like reach right in there, so it looks like a bag of holding, just kind of like a normal bag, and pulls out the bag that contains the gems. And it's like while she's doing it, she's talking and goes, well, me and some of my like friends and like party were doing a couple of little dungeons, and we came across some gems. We were wondering if you were able to like exchange some of them for some gold so we can get some really cool stuff. And she like pulls out the bag and like places it.
Immediately, his eyebrows raise high toward his hairline as he says, "Dungeons, you say?" As he looks at the bag with a great deal of trepidation and says, "Precisely what is the providence of these gems? One must always be wary of 2 principal things in this business, which is theft, yes, and curses," as he looks with tremendous worry toward the bag in front of you.
Oh, I mean, it wasn't stolen. We actually just took it out of a chest that was in there. It was like first level of the Undermountain dungeon and the Yawning Portal. As far as I'm aware, there aren't any curses on it. We've had it for a little while now, and nothing bad's happened.
As far as you're aware, have you perhaps sought out the aid of a professional curse breaker? A cleric or a mage well studied in such divinations?
Yes, and I mean, they seem to have it sorted out.
Very good. You did do the thing properly in that case. Go ahead and make a deception check.
I'm going to use my inspiration.
Absolutely missing a single beat there before that, yes.
Funny.
With a 20, he looks at you and says, "When I see no pox upon you, no withering of the limbs, no ghosts hanging upon your shoulders, very well. Would you be so kind as to present the items in question?" As he gestures toward the bag, still very unwilling to handle it himself.
Sure, of course. I open up the bag, and I do it in a way where like he gets to see the entire context of the bag, and then I take out just maybe like a couple of gems and place them on the table in front of him. While keeping the other bag, keeping the bag, I seal it back up and keep it in my hand.
You can see that he's impressed by the couple of gems that you place before him, immediately murmuring to himself about carats and quality and cut. Yet he looks back and says, "Are these all that you intend to sell in that case, or?"
Oh, no, the entire bag. I'm just being a little bit on the safe side here. You know, it's a lot of gems in here. Thought you could have a little look at these ones, and then we can just go from there.
Well, certainly. As he looks toward we'll say a diamond, one of the diamonds that you've produced in front of you, by your estimation, probably worth 150 gold pieces by itself. As he begins to inspect it, he produces from his front pocket a small look at it.
While he's looking, I want to try and like, I don't know if it's like a perception. Gosh. Oh, 16. Not bad.
With a 16, you can see that there is a symbol of the Watchful Protector helm inscribed upon the monocle. You get the sense that it might carry some minor enchantment.
Okay.
As he looks at it with curiosity, your spell save DC, once again, is 14?
Let me just double check that for you. My spell save DC is 15.
15, very good. As he looks at it with curiosity, he considers it for a moment and says, "Indeed, not a bad gem, yet I'm afraid that you have been mistaken." As he looks up at you, taking his hands back from the gem, still having not touched it, "There is indeed a curse upon this object."
There is?
He looks at you and says, "I'm sorry to be the one to inform you of this. An illusion, it would seem. The value of this gem has been greatly inflated. I'm sorry to say that it is not so much a fortune that you have walked out of that dungeon with, but a pittance."
Oh no, really? Oh.
He begins to point out certain facets upon the gem. He says, "Indeed, if you see the way that the light catches the object here, this is not diamond. This is an artificial mineral known as zirconium. Beautiful, indeed, yet not possessing any of the same magical qualities, yes, that such a gem should."
Can I roll a history to see what I would maybe know about Lord Walrus's history or something in the city, like his what am I thinking of?
His reputation.
What word? Yeah, his reputation. Yeah, that's the word.
Yeah, go for it.
Would that
So
be
how-
history?
Yeah. With
Okay,
So
advantage.
how do you
well-
guys
Native of
how do you
Waterdeep.
guys think she's doing in there?
Oh, I don't know anything.
Roll with advantage. You're a native of Waterdeep.
Okay, I'll just roll it again. But I don't know
You
anything.
don't know anything. Lord
Could
Walrus,
I-
you'll probably get along with him because he eats a bunch of fish.
Yeah.
What's that,
Could-
Skitty?
I roll an insight to see if he's over exaggerating this lie to try and get these gems for a cheaper price.
Yeah, roll an insight check.
Oh, I don't know anything either.
Let me roll his own persuasion or deception. With a 2, you actually do meet his insight here. You don't get the sense that he is attempting to lie to you. You get the sense that he has been thrown off by perceiving the spell that you cast upon it. And that is the curse that he is referring to.
So he doesn't know exactly what's on it, but he thinks there's something on it that's distorting its value.
He does, and in that sense, you think that he is probably assuming that none of these gems are real.
Right. Well, I mean, I'm sure some of these gems have to be real, right? Can you do it? And I want to pull out one of the gems that I haven't distorted
Uh-huh.
and put that on the table, but make it like obviously like it looks like I'm just pulling stuff out of the bag, and then put one of the ones that I haven't distorted on the table. It's like, can you like check like these ones maybe and just make sure at least like not all of them are? It would be such a waste if all of them were distorted after all that effort.
Very good. So you pull out the moonstone that you claimed from Blue Alley, placing it on the table before him. He says, well, if you insist, I would be happy to take a look for you, but if these were all claimed from the same place... So he's going to make another investigation check here. With a natural 20, looking through that glass as he gazes toward the moonstone, he says, a fine gem, semi-precious, you understand. Moonstone, not of the same value as diamond, but this does appear to be authentic. If you were wishing to part with it, then we could make a deal.
I mean, yeah, like we could make a deal on that, and hopefully some of the other ones that might also be real. I don't know how much time you have for this, or
Very little. I, to be frank, have much gem cutting to do today. Very little time in which to do it. Many clients who have need of my wares. I had let you in primarily as a courtesy to my dear friend Edna, unless you have something substantial to show me. I think it would be best for both of us to spend our time elsewhere.
Oh,
do I have something substantial to show him?
I mean, you've got a bag full of gems, gemstones from Blue Alley.
Can I? Because I know it's not concentration, so it lasts an hour. But can I drop the spell?
No. Unfortunately, if you cast a spell that is non-concentration, you have
It just
no
stays
say.
up.
It's kind of like setting a fire. You can't really put it out afterwards. It just has to run its course. You could dispel it if you had access to dispel magic or someone else who could cast it, but beyond that, it's on there.
Would it be by the time the spell runs out, it would be most definitely nighttime.
Yes.
Do we want to attempt to go through black market channels at night?
Maybe we could attempt that.
Because that seems like an option. I don't want to spend too much time
Mhm.
dealing with this. Like, too much time just trying to get these gems sold. So I would say black market is going to be a bigger risk, but a way to. It's either black market today or temple tomorrow. What it seems like.
Mm. Oh, jeez, what do I want to do?
Hello?
Hello?
Okay, there we go. Everybody was cutting out and was robotic, so I restarted Discord.
Oh no. Okay, what am I gonna do? Well, do you have any recommendations for someone that can maybe remove the curse? You know?
Go on.
Oh, no. Never mind.
He says, magic is not my specialty, yet I believe there are many clerical institutions within the city that may be of aid to you. I believe most would expect some form of tithe or tribute, however. Though if that is what you wish, he says, removing the curse will not increase the value of the gems, my dear. And I promise you, any jeweler worth their trade will see right through such a thing. If you wish for me to pay fair value for what you possess, well, I would hate to see you sent out here by a friend of mine and leave empty-handed.
I could at least sell you the moonstone.
He gives you a slightly patronizing smile and says, of course, of course. Well, let me get my scales in that case, as he produces a small set of scales, looking toward the moonstone, measuring it, and finally giving you, well, it is a fine piece. I would provide a discount for bulk, of course, but for the singular stone, shall we say, 30 gold pieces.
30. I was really hoping for at least like 40. She looks kind of saddened.
Make a persuasion check. With the 12, he looks at you a little sympathetically and says, I understand that it's a disappointment. I certainly do, to hold something valuable in your hand and realize it's not what you have. Shall we split the difference? 35?
So very kind. Yes, thank you.
Very good. In that case, he begins to reach into his coat pocket, producing a very large coin purse. Begins to count out 3 platinum pieces, 5 gold, pressing it over the table toward you, and says, I do appreciate your business, and do send Edna my regards should you see her again.
Oh, I will. And thank you again. I'm so glad you were here to let me know about this before I tried selling it somewhere else. At least now I know, and hopefully I can look out for the signs next time.
He gives you a smile. He says, a word of general caution. Most merchants in Waterdeep will be highly suspicious of anything that you claim to have pulled out of a dungeon.
Oh.
It's due diligence, really, to get such things checked. I mean, a different curse could have killed us both.
My gosh, that would have been dreadful. I'll make sure to get them double checked next time.
So, Echo, making your way back to the rest of your party. 35 gold pieces richer, 1 moonstone down.
I broke even on the moonstone, and he saw for the start value for the rest of it. So I had to play it off as a curse.
It was the least worth a shot. I guess the church is fine now.
It is,
but we have to wait, I think is the thing. Right?
Must
Because-
we, or can we just say that we found them with an enchantment upon them?
Well, if there's an enchantment on them with illusionary, it's going to be reduced in value. It's better to just wait the duration and let them be base value of the gems. Or we could try to sell them to a black market later tonight. It's either that, or I think depending if the temple's open that late. But anyway, I think the best option would be to buy what we can with what we have for now, and then sell the gems either tomorrow to the temple or to the temple if either the black market or the temple today, or definitely the temple tomorrow.
I
Just
don't
trying-
imagine that. I don't imagine the temple's open that late. Would I know that?
Yeah.
Commerce never ceases to flow.
Well, there we go.
Always
Ah.
open.
All right, then if it's always open, then that would
However,
be-
either way, most of our shopping will likely have to be done tomorrow morning.
Very good.
That's okay. We can scope out the market and
like we could at least see if we
Yes,
find
we-
any items that we want them to hold for us to get a transaction done first.
Yes, we can get the simple stuff out of the way. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose this would be as good of a time as any to split off.
Also, I'm not letting you keep that back. Give it back.
but it looks so cute on me.
I know. Give it for me, please. It has literally all my stuff in it. I don't want to die. I have nothing without that bag.
Gobs,
Fine, but I accidentally spilled all the rubble out of the bag in there, so sorry, Chance, back to you.
I have more
Bob's-
rocks. Yes.
under no circumstances are you to remove the gems from this bag.
Of course I won't. And I'm being honest this time. I won't.
Very good. The party in that case killing 6 hours before visiting the Church of Joaquin, or
I'm going to, first off, I'm going to return to the yawning portal and tell Saya everything that occurred.
very good. Saya, in that case, as the party begins to make their way back to the yawning portal, how have you been spending your time?
I've been doing a whole lot of sitting around, sipping some glasses of water that a couple silvers might be able to get me. Just patiently waiting to see what the results would be.
Very good. Taking your time, enjoying some of the music drifting through the tap room, and ignoring some of the rougher attempts at conversation that you receive from the patrons. Eventually, you see the familiar form of Ruzak and the rest of the party making their way back into the portal.
I assume you're finished then?
It didn't go quite as planned.
Oh boy, I'm shocked.
So we have to wait for the effect to end, and then we're going to the temple of
And yet, we are none the worse for wear.
yeah. Nothing, nothing gained, but nothing. Also lost.
Well, there
It
was
was
something that
gained.
was lost, perhaps the most invaluable resource of all, and that was time.
Well-
not really, time is technically infinite, and
Time
Yeah.
is
one day doesn't bother.
time's a resource that you can always get more of, just depending on your morality.
Boom.
There are some words that ring true to Saya's accusation here, though. Once the party rests tonight, it will be the 5th day of the new year, which means that you have 25 days remaining before each member of your party owes your interest payment to Goldblood, 10,000 gold pieces each.
It's
I
10,000
forgot
each. I
that.
thought it was 10,000 altogether.
Oh no, it's 10,000 each.
That seems a bit unfeasible even for higher leveled parties.
it's not a fair contract. Nor is it intended to be.
I understand the entire scope of it now. It's a forced agreement contract. So we couldn't debate it because we were, dead.
Hence our flexibility in the morals of the acquisition.
We will say, Saya, we still have lines we are not crossing. Like, we're not going to commit murder to get this. Unless, like, the person is, like, a really, 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 really bad person.
And we do not steal from the poor.
Yeah.
They don't have anything worth stealing anyway.
We take only from those who can take the cost.
Well, I hope
With
you
that-
know that means that I have 25 days to make 10,000 gold pieces to pay off my interest for the month.
As do the four of us.
Just keep in mind, everyone, that we have that we probably aren't getting this. So it could be a smart idea to just save up for next month's payment, hit the interest rate this month, take the interest this month, and then just be able to pay it next month.
Not quite sure if I follow.
Well, okay, if we
missed this month and we pay double next month.
basically, yeah, like it's going to be super hard to get 1 month anyways. So the best I think we can do is,
I'm already in a rabbit hole of debt as it is. Just the thought of delaying a month's payment for the sake of temporary convenience is idiotic.
right.
I want to spend as much time as I can acquiring as much gold as I can to pay off this debt.
But to be fair, you could have at least like performed or something. You could, if you truly wanted to do that, you could have just performed while we were doing our thing.
Oh yes, perform a song, do a dance when there's a happily skilled bard over there. Points at the person currently performing.
Still, there's the
Not
thing
to
of
just perform here. You could.
you could at least get 1 or 2 silvers.
Unless the rest of you wish to continue this pointless argument, I will be heading back to the market to at least
Let's
figure
go.
out what I will buy
All right, let's go.
once we acquire the gold from these gems.
I want to see what I want is there. Let's go.
Very good.
I might be able to buy y'all stuff if y'all pay me back.
Not a big word.
Paying you back.
there.
We're all in debt.
Yeah, you're just now in debt to me also.
Yeah, I'm gonna pass.
All right.
All right.
Back to the market.
The party presses their way back toward the market here. What are
Yeah,
you
I'm not
searching
going with
for?
them.
Very good. As the party presses their way back toward the market here, what are you searching for?
I personally am looking for a thieves pack to replace mine that I lost. A replacement pair of daggers and a bookshop.
Very good. The daggers are easy enough to acquire for, I believe, 2 gold pieces each. What kind of book are you looking for?
I am looking for a book on the kingdoms / countries, whatever they're called, of Faerun.
Very
Faerun, not favorite. the elf.
Mean.
good.
Did you hear me gasp? I was like,
He's looking me up, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. You are able to find a bookshop within the castle ward known as Plume and Ink, run by an elderly dragonborn woman with silver scales, large pince-nez over her pointed snout. She looks toward you and says,
History, you said, about the kings and queens of Faerun? I'm sorry, you have to speak up a little bit.
Faerun, the continent that we are on.
Histories, yeah. Very good. In that case.
and you said governments of just this general area, right?
As widespread and as recent information as possible. I'm mainly looking for relations between countries, borders, etc.
Very good. Go ahead and make me an investigation check.
Oh no!
Very good. With an 8, you do find a history. Not quite the modern geopolitical treatise that you're looking for, but you do find a history which... Oh, one sec. But you do find...
Bob?
Yeah, it looks like Zomzord's just... internet just went out. One sec. Ooh. But you do find a book which is titled Taming the Savage Frontier. A history of the civilization of the Sword Coast. It's not it's not the modern piece that you would want, but it does go into a great deal of history, lengthy history, about how the cities that have become the major civilizations along the Sword Coast were originally founded. Baldur's Gate, Waterdeep, Luskin, Neverwinter.
How much for this piece?
She looks at you and says,
Oh, well, an old book of some value. Shall we call it 2 gold pieces?
She looks at you hopefully.
Yes, very well. I don't see the need in arguing.
Very good. You hand over the coinage.
She looks at you and says, and would you like it gift wrapped? Or just a little parchment paper to ensure that you don't get splashed on the way home?
Parchment paper will be fine, thank you.
She wraps it up very sweetly with a large string bow.
Looks toward you and says, keep on reading. Always important to expand one's horizons.
Do you perhaps have, I tell you what, could I leave you my name, and should you come across a book more widespread, I will be staying at the Yawning Portal for quite a while. If you could send a message there, I would be more than happy to purchase it from you.
Certainly, we do special orders. I could ask around and inquire if there's something more fitting to your interests.
Yes.
Ruzak, you said?
Yes, Ruzak. That's correct.
Oh, very good. We'll be happy to do so. And if you come by again, I would more definitely like to hear what you thought about it.
Of course. Well, I have much shopping to attend to, but I wish you a good rest of your evening.
She nods, blinking those roomy dragonborn eyes as the shop bell rings behind you. What next, guys?
Who wants to have their items next?
I can go next.
Yeah,
Go for
I'm
it.
probably with Skitty in very similar areas. So,
I'm looking for. So I'm looking for like some glamored studded leather armor. So I'll be searching the market for probably like a magic shop or like a stylish shop or something that I would know that would have something like that in stock.
Yeah, you do find an upper class in the castle ward, you are familiar with a boutique that many times as a child growing up with the Fang gang on the streets, you long to look into the windows from. You know, of course, you were before being chased off by security for being too filthy near the shop establishment, known as the Golden Needle. Very high-class Waterdeepian boutique that caters to the nobility of this city. If you wish to make your way there, it is a white storefront in sort of a villa style. You can see that there are a number of immaculately dressed noble women moving in and out, as well as noble men as well. What would you like to do?
I would like to go inside. And I guess I would look for like the owner or the person that's like manning the till or like manning the outfits. Go over to them and politely say, "Excuse me, sorry if I'm bothering you today. I was wondering if you had anything along the lines of glamored armor?"
As you move up to the high elven woman, with dressed head to toe in a very tightly fitting gold and white samite dress, you can see her hair, a number of golden needles, literal golden needles, sticking through a bun at the back. Looks down toward you. What's your appearance like here?
She's just in her typical human appearance, so she's just got her black hair, her like slightly like sun-kissed, like tan skin, emerald green eyes, and then her like basic outfit on.
She looks at you, a narrowly suppressed sneer, and saying, this is not an outfitter's so much as a boutique. Are you certain that you know what you're looking for here?
Yes, some glamored studded leather armor. I thought you'd be able to help me purchase it so I can look extra glamorous while fighting monsters.
She looks at you and says, "One of those, I see. Looking for a, what do they call it, wardrobe in a box in that case? Something in leather, you said?"
Yeah.
Well, we don't do leather. We don't do studs. Normally, at least. If you are interested and have the money for a down payment, I could put you in touch with our special orders department.
Sure. I'm just scoping out just now while we get some gems looked at for changing in for money. Do you know how much it would cost?
Window shopping in that case. I can't help you much in that case. I'd need to sit you down with an advisor. There's a 50 gold piece advisement fee. If you wish to pay that, I could set up an appointment for you.
I mean, I was just curious at how much it would cost to get it made. I don't need to go for the whole shebang.
Right. Looking at you, probably more than you can afford.
Are you sure? Do you want to test me on that one? She had like a very like, you know, young girl walking into like her first like princess dress shop for the first time. As like this whole conversation, but as soon as she says that, her eyes just narrow and are just digging into hers.
She looks at you and says, "I'd be more than happy to test you on it. Like I said, there's a 50 gold piece retainer if you'd like to talk to a personal stylist in order to purchase an hour of his time. Yes. Then you could negotiate price there."
Okay, rough estimation on the prices though.
Again, you would have to talk to our stylist, and his time is most valuable.
She like looks her up and down.
I can feel the hatred pouring out of you for this NPC.
Thank
At
you.
this point, it's just like, can I just get a quote? 50 gold pieces to talk to the person to get a quote. I just want a quote.
Yeah,
Quote is 50
she's like-
gold pieces.
She's like,
This is
Yeah.
like an expensive car dealership. You're like,
Yeah.
just tell me how much the convertible is. Fuck.
she sort of like does like an arm fold and like looks her up and down like at her outfit and everything in a very like judgy, done with this kind of matter. And goes, well, I guess you really aren't the kind of person for me anyway. I mean, to be honest, this kind of shop is at this point secondhand, and your prices are obviously not as high as you're pretending them to be if you can't even tell me a rough estimation of, what was it, just some leather armor that I request for looking nice. If that's the case, then I'll take my business elsewhere. And then she'll start walking out the door and she'll be like, oh, and Lord Walrus, I'll let him know that probably you're not the
It's
place
not
to go
his
anymore."
fucking name.
I said, what's his name? I thought everyone knew him as Lord Walrus.
Lord Walrus is not his name. That's his alias that he puts. That's under.
It's Mert.
Go ahead and make an intimidation check on the way out.
That's
I do say Mert, though.
Oh
I
my
do
God.
Mert. I forgot his real name, but I do say Mert.
Sure.
Mert the Merciful or Mert the Lone Star, whatever.
26.
With the 26, as you're making your way out, she says, forgive me, I did not realize that you were here on the business of Sir Mert. Forgive me. You must understand, we have adventurers walking in here all the time, thinking that it's a place that they can shop. Forgive me, I didn't realize that this was a special order for someone in his line of business.
She, like, stops, like, you know, with the door, like, half open, and she's, like, about to leave, and she goes, like, So?
So, the best thing for you to do would probably be to schedule an appointment with our stylist. There's a 50 gold piece deposit.
This is gonna be me. This is gonna be me in the Majordomo all over again.
She stops at the door, and she, like, when she said so, she has, like, her head turned to look at her, and then she looks at the door, and, like, I imagine Gobs is here the entire time, and she's like, come on, Gobs, let's go. Clearly, this is not the place that we are supposed to be.
Please clean him up after your pet, if it's, thank you.
Oh, Gobs, do you want to maybe do the whole rock thing?
Oh, are you sure of this place? Do they deserve it this time?
Yes.
He'll take a piece of. No, I know what I'm doing. I'm going to touch the doorknob, and the doorknob to the shop is now emitting a fart smell.
And as Gobs does that, Echo turns around with the door open, bows, does like a courteous bow, and goes, "Have a lovely day, Dick," and closes the door.
I do want to say this: it lasts indefinitely until someone uses spelling magic.
So, as the fart doorknob just regularly out behind you as you make your way up, you pass a Waterdeepian couple, a rather elderly-looking nobleman with what looks to be, maybe a showgirl on his arm, making his way up. As he places his hand on the door, doorknob, the sound emits, and she looks scandalized toward him as he begins to make apologies. You make your way back out into the city streets of Waterdeep. That's somehow so much worse than, like, dog poo in a bag on the doorstep. But I do approve of it.
Oh, can we go for my stuff now, Echo?
Sure.
Gobs would like to go to, like, probably, like, a crafting guild or something, because that's probably where he would find. He's looking for a all-purpose tool. Base rare +1 would be fine, but it's that and a breastplate. But it depends on how much the tool costs first.
Which tool? Sorry.
All-purpose tool, the +1 artificer thing from Tasha's uncommon.
An all-purpose tool +1 artificer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where are you going to look for that exactly?
He was probably gonna go to like Crafters Guild or something like that. Someone like that would probably have something like that,
Yeah.
because he would wager that a crafting guild is more likely to have it than just like a magic shop.
Yeah, make me an investigation check.
I really want this. I'm using my inspiration on this. Do I have it selected? Yes. 23.
With a 23, you know that the Temple of Gond would probably be the place for that. The university / campus / church seated within the sea ward of the city, where you know that artificers and all of those who worship the ingenuity of the creator god gather.
One second. I have to occupy him. I'm sorry. All right. I will. Can you refresh real quick?
Can I get to the Temple of Gond, which is the temple devoted to the creator deity, worshipped by artificers and other people who practice such similar mechanical ingenuity. That would probably be the place to ask.
Yeah. So he would go there with Echo, I guess. And he would. I don't know if Gobs would be known here or not. I know his father would have reputation here.
What kind of reputation do you think he might have?
I know his father would have a reputation because they figured out a way of enchanting items that is much more magically efficient type thing. But Gods hasn't really done anything. Lots of his stuff, especially in the early days, just broke or doesn't work how it's completely supposed to, like 75% of the way it works.
As you begin to make your way inside of the temple, Gobs, you are greeted by a half-elven woman in a brown apron over some white work clothes, very near the entrance to the temple. Which the temple is a sprawling. It's more like a fucking like auto shop more than anything else. Like there are garages instead of temple pillars. There are skylights instead of fountains. There are smokestacks burning at the back of this temple instead of like choral music being produced. And as you make your way inside, it's like a massive warehouse where you can see sparks and mechano-magical effects flying about within the distance. As she looks toward you, she reflexively is just looking down at the clipboard and says, I'm sorry, seeking supplication or looking to put a work order in or... Oh no. She sees it's you, Gobs. Just don't touch anything.
I'm only
Why
looking.
Are you back?
I'm only looking to buy something this time.
We were very clear last time.
I understand. I'm only looking to buy something this time. I'm not trying to make anything here. I know the rules on that. I know I'm not allowed to make anything or rent workshops
Step
here.
back 30 paces outside the door.
I'm only looking to buy this time, okay? I'm going to keep hands in pockets if that's what y'all want. This is my friend. They can vouch. I haven't blown anything up in a while.
Who just like hand on hip does a friend. I'm his sister. I'll make sure he doesn't do anything.
They know who I am, Echo.
Yeah, you're still my little brother.
All right.
Very good. As you back out, she takes a moment and she clips a quill, or she clips a Plumbago pencil to the clipboard and throws it end over end directly toward you as hard as she can. You catch it with a little bit of scrabbling, and then she shouts from a small megaphone that she produces near the desk. Write your order on the paper. We will get back to you at your choice of residence within 3 to 5 business days.
Oh, heartless.
I was looking for just a quick... I don't even have to go in. I can tell my sister to go in and get the item for me. I know y'all have them here. I just want a basic, all-purpose tool. That's it. I'm about to dive into a dungeon, and I want to be able to tinker while I'm in the dungeon.
Very good. So, as you write the order upon the clipboard, sending it back through, she looks at you and says, "We are going to process your request. Once again, the Chief Artificer would like to make it perfectly clear to you that you are not to step foot on these premises under threat of arrest, trespass, or holy execution. We'd like to remind you that it's never been proven that it's not your very presence that caused things to go wrong."
I know, and at that moment, I would imagine just a cog and something explodes and rockets past, almost like taking someone's head off.
Instantaneously, you hear a scream of terror as you see this elderly gnomish man who was just tinkering on a little mechanical teapot that could boil the tea and then serve it to people themselves with just a cog and sprocket transfixing his forehead as you see his eyes go back at his skull. Walrus, you know it's best to rush out of this place.
Yeah, okay. You have the order? Alright, I'm backing up. Oh, why does this keep happening? Why is it specifically gone? Why does he hate me?
You need to work on those explosions. They're running away.
As the party moves back to the yawning portal, in that case, everyone's more or less gotten their shopping done. Saya, what have you been up to?
Saya doesn't have much money. I don't have much shopping to do. I will be lollygagging.
How you lollygag?
You can lollygag with me if you want, Saya.
Sure.
I was just gonna go scope out like the food market and see if I can get like any nice ingredients, so that way if we go down and I need to cook something, I have some ingredients, some spices and stuff on hand.
She'll hold the groceries.
No, not hold the groceries. We could just like, I don't know, talk about food. I mean, I know you drink blood or whatever, but like, you gotta
Has
know.
she even admitted to that yet?
You licked the blood off of my face and said it tasted like bad.
Tasted sour.
Sour!
That's true.
Yeah. Gentle thing doesn't judge. She eats rats. She doesn't judge.
Seeing as you fed us rats and apples, you know, I don't think Saya judges either.
See? But imagine what I could do if I had good ingredients and spices.
Again, I'll hold the groceries.
Sweet.
Gentle thing, as you begin to make your way to the Waterdeep market, what kind of spices are you looking for, Gentle thing? What's the nature of your cuisine? I know that for the most part, alley cat that you are, you've been picking, fish skeletons out of garbage cans and somehow turning it into something delicious for your family for many years, but now that you've got a little bit of money, what is it you've always wanted to try?
Delicious is very generous.
So, firstly, I'm looking for stuff that won't go bad in my pack. So maybe like dried sardines or
Shelf
like-
stable food.
yeah, kind of stuff like that, and stuff that'll like pack down easy. I would love if I could get like some fantasy chicken stock to flavor up some fantasy rice. Yeah.
Definitely.
And some fantasy taco seasoning would be great.
They've got tacos.
could-
Oh, they do?
Yeah.
Okay, so taco seasoning, because that goes good on everything. And then, as well, I would want to look into, like I have my water skin, which is fine, but maybe like a little jar of milk or cream so I could make like a nice soup and rehydrate the dried food that I get.
Beautifully said. It is a day of it, collecting your ingredients here at the market. Everything from chicken stock to mushroom gravy to kegs and kegs, I would assume, of soy sauce in order to go with all of that seafood.
Yeah, it sounds awesome. And maybe like a little bag of rice too, because that could go pretty far.
Beautifully said. Any particular requirements that you think of when it comes to cooking to your family, or cooking for your family? Where does Gentle Thing's heart lie when it comes to this activity?
Like, in regards to cooking?
Yeah, in particular, cooking for the people around her.
I think it would probably come from my mom, as I wasn't always on the streets. I did have a Tabaxi clan that I was a part of growing up, and I'd like to think that my mom was always cooking to provide for those who didn't have enough to provide for themselves. It's kind of like a it takes a whole village situation with the clan. So if there were, kids running around and she was cooking, oh, well, now she's cooking for the whole clan who's running around, like for all the kids. And yeah, I think that just comes from that. Like, here's something I can do to make you guys all feel good, and it's kind of like a way for Gentle Thing to show how much she cares for those around her.
What
Like-
is she like, Gentle Thing? As you gather the spices within the market, as you think of the recipes that you learned at her side.
Like my mom?
Yeah,
Like, what was her favorite food?
yeah.
I'm gonna say it had something to do with fish, and maybe like fish wrapped in seaweed or something with like some salt and herbs on top. Some sort of like I want to say like stuffed cabbages, but with like fish and seaweed.
Beautiful, like latke almost. That's what I'm thinking of. It's not latke. Never mind. I can't remember what I'm thinking of. There's some Mennonite stuffed cabbage dish that is similar to that. But
Is it just stuffed cabbages? Because that's very Mennonite.
I think it is like sausage stuffed cabbages is what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
I've used it before. It's really good.
Yeah,
Beautiful. So
yeah, I've had that a lot.
you remember being in the kitchen with your mother. You remember constantly her smacking your clever little hands, attempting to take portions of the ingredients before they were ready to be cooked. Always a little bit hungry, and always Gentle Thing, even as a child, even before you were on the streets, always a little bit inclined to take what wasn't yours, right?
Mm-hmm.
You remember her looking down at you. Not a black cat like yourself, but gray, with a tuft of snow-white fur on her forehead, like a full moon, looking down at you with those big, serene eyes, and saying, "We don't do that. We eat when everyone else eats. That's because they're our family. You wouldn't take food out of your own family's mouths, would you, gentle thing?"
No.
Of course you wouldn't. That's why we cook for them as well. It's a little difficult, as the two of you continue to roll these cabbage wraps around the delicious, delicious smelling sausage, fresh from the pan. She says it won't be hot by the time they get home, but eating with other people warms the heart. And that's good enough, isn't it?
Yeah.
She smiles at you, grabs a piece of the hot sausage, and tosses it toward you as you catch it inside of your mouth. What happened to her?
To her?
Yeah.
She, um, what did I write here? Let me see. Hang on a sec. Let me go through here. She had to abandon me as a way of protecting herself from angering the clan leader, and much like the Mennonite community, Gentle Thing is now shunned from the clan and can't be in any contact with anyone, including her mother. She angered, let me see, blah blah blah. Oh, Gentle Thing isn't exactly sure why her mom abandoned her, but there is a rumor that her mom, whose name is Honeybee, slept with another clan leader, and that is a huge taboo I've created in Tabaxi cultures. And I said I don't know if it's an act of selfishness or if it was an act of love.
It's difficult to say sometimes. Black cats, bad luck. Yet, what do you think the Gentle Thing has been convinced of? What does she really believe in her heart of hearts? Was it selfish? Was it an act of love?
Yeah, Gentle Thing really thinks it was an act of love, and Gentle Thing isn't exactly sure who her father is because of the, sleeping with another clan leader. But she doesn't look down on her mother in any regard for it. She did what she had to survive, and she can respect that.
You didn't always have good food. And in fact, the 1 month you remember having good food within your home is the month before you were exiled from it. Yet the recipes will always be there, and you know that as long as you continue to cook for your adoptive family, your mother will be right there with you. You and Saya gather the appropriate ingredients over the course of the day, enjoying your conversations amongst each other. Unless there are any other thoughts, the party begins to reconvene at the yawning portal as the day ends. Very good. The party reconvenes. Ingredients gathered, armaments inspected, gems to be bartered on the morrow, and that yawning black pit beckoning you into Undermountain, waiting still. as the party reconvenes within the tap room, says their goodnights, and wakes the next morning. I think that we'll end the session there for the evening.
Nice.
What a great session, Ben.
Yeah.
We love a good RP session.
Yeah.
Thanks for your patience, guys. I know that shopping is not always the most engaging thing for us to do in Waterdeep, but you guys always
love
hold up your
shopping.
end as characters.
I like shopping.
I
like
love
shopping.
shopping. I love shopping and library days.
Somehow I
Especially
made
when I get to hide my shopping desires from the rest of my party.
somehow I was the most enthusiastic about shopping and the only one that didn't
I
do
know.
anything.
Can I just say I love how much pressure we put on Echo? Yeah, go in there and get us 2,000 gold from these gems.
I was trying so hard. At least I broke even on that moonstone.
All right.
I want you to know I was certain that you were going to come back. I got 200 gold for the whole bag.
Do you know how tempted? I was like thinking to myself, I was like, right, how dumb is Echo in this moment? Like, would she just be like, oh my god, like 200's great? You want to give me 50 gold for the whole thing? Sure.
I'm beat, gang. If you have any questions or comments, I'm happy to hear them. Otherwise, I'm gonna eat some dinner and I'm gonna go dancing tonight.
Tell us how much we
Ooh.
have to pay you to, pay for your dancing night.
That's
Yeah.
solid. Let's call that. We didn't quite run fucking 3 hours. Let's call that $14 each.
And I might DM you later during the week to ask about that 5e tools thing you mentioned.
Yeah, dude, absolutely. It's so easy to make the custom stat blocks with it now, man. I'd be happy to show you how.
Cool.
Importantly, enjoy dancing.
I'm gonna do my best. Have a good night, guys. I'll talk to y'all soon.